Welcome to the Salt Circle Podcast. My name is Hank. With me, though he may die again and again, nothing shall keep him from rising from his tune. Nothing, nothing, nothing. It's Ben.
I have an army of children. They have knives. You can't kill them because they're children. You could kill them, but you won't.
Because you could kill them.
You could.
But you have morals.
But you don't want that. You don't want that stigma following you around. We read Dracula.
We read some 70s. The Tomb of Dracula.
He's like
classic Marvel Comics Dracula.
He's like drawn after Vincent Price Dracula, right?
I don't think Vincent Price was over Dracula.
Was he not? He had Vincent Price vibes to me.
He kind of does. The thing is, there is a Marvel character from the 70s that was extremely just drawn as Vincent Price, but it's Doctor Strange. So
gotcha. I mean, I was reading all of his lines of Vincent Price's voice, and it was doing wonders.
He does. The way he's drawn does have that vibe. You're not wrong.
Yeah.
Which is why it's funny when him and Doctor Strange fight, and they're like both Vincent Price.
One of the biggest things I got out of this was, holy shit, Blade's original design.
Hell yeah,
dude!
This is the first appearance of Blade.
It's so much
in issue
fucking
10.
cooler than the one we get, because it's like, I want groovy Blade, you know?
It's 70s Blade.
Yeah, like that's so
not
much
fucking, edgy 90s Blade.
That's so much fucking cooler. I want the disco vampire hunter, you know? Like, when Blade shows up, they should be playing Kamen Rider Meteor's theme. It needs to get fucking funky, you know? Like,
holy shit, that would be so good.
It's just great. Shows up, kills a teenager, refuses to elaborate, leaves. I mean, like, it was such a, like, it seems like it was a small part of this, but, like, I was just like, holy shit. I wasn't expecting it. And I always forget that Blade is a Marvel thing. Like, I know it in my head, and then anytime I've watched the movies, the Marvel thing shows up. I'm like, fucking right. So I wasn't expecting him at all here.
Yeah. Well, also that this Dracula story exists in the Marvel universe.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
It was pretty good.
This is just what Europe in the Marvel universe is like.
I think this definitely kind of suffered from, like, this isn't a thing that I was meant to read 300 pages of at once. I was like, this felt like a thing that I could definitely do, like, a weekly, you know, like, as it was coming out or something. Because, like, you get, the fucking wacky antics, like, it's just Dracula doing his fucking monologuing and shit. It's really good. But after 300 pages, I was like, okay. Like, you keep saying that no mortal can harm you, but you've been pretty fucked up. Like,
my favorite, he's like telling that story of like what happened to him and how he got, like, when he got pulled out of the water by those guys.
Yeah,
his like version of the story, and he's just lying out of his teeth about like that he was competent while he's just getting his ass kicked. That part is so good.
Oh,
it's
yeah,
so
man.
funny.
No, dude, he gets like fucking beat to shit so many times. Even
but I narrowly pulled myself away. Even they like toss his motionless corpse into the river.
Yeah. Well, dude, even how his introduction starts, like, they pull how long had he been dead, roughly? Like 100 years
it's
or
like
something? Or
300 years?
Yeah, like a long fucking time, you know? Dude gets the stake pulled out of him, and the first words out of his mouth are like, no mortal can kill me. He's been out of it for 3 centuries. The confidence. The fucking confidence is unreal.
I feel like it became a lot less.
Maybe it was 100. Maybe it was like 100 years.
Maybe like 30
or something.
It might have been. I thought 3. It was 3 years by the end.
Well, yeah, because like
he'd been there for 3 years.
Yeah, shit kept like,
because they have to fill in all this stuff of Dracula having adventures throughout time. He can't be dead for too long at any given point.
Yeah. No, that's
they unearth him where he's been dead for 3 years.
Yeah, but at the time it's longer.
Yeah.
So like,
it seems like it's longer.
Look, at the
when
time,
you just like find Dracula's tomb and he's a skeleton.
At the first point when you see it, you think it's longer, which makes him being like, "You can't defeat me," as soon as he's up. It makes it great.
That random guy that just like shoots him when he's just a bat.
Just fucking taking shots.
The end, the thing with the Scotsman.
Yeah, like
just like this is, oh man, it's like this where the Scotsman from Samurai Jack comes from. There's like a character in that who's just like a Scotsman but tough, and I'm just like, is this where that character comes? Is it like inspired by this?
That is wild.
Just like this extreme caricature of a Scotsman who's fighting Dracula. Hell yeah.
His colors were popping though. Such a good design.
Yes. No, the colors are popping throughout this whole comic.
Yeah.
These like modern redone colors or whatever, cleaned up, rather than like scans of old paper.
Yeah. No, there was great fucking panels. The chick with her eyes as skulls or whatever.
Oh, that one was sick.
And then just the flashlight with tape on it. My latest
flashlight
invention.
with the cross on it is so. It's like, Dracula, you've been dead for a long time. Technology's advanced.
That was good shit though. Like, that concept
good.
they're not wrong. Like,
well, it's also just very funny that like, the artist on this remains consistent. So like, it has a consistent feel, but like the writer is changing like issue to issue at first. If I didn't know that, I kind of wouldn't have noticed.
I was gonna say, if you hadn't told me, I don't know that I would have picked up on it, because like, it's all the same vibe, you know? It wasn't different enough that it was like wildly.
I think the biggest difference is that like the first issue is drawn more on like the universal, like the old Bela Lugosi Dracula, and then the second issue is more drawn on Hammer stuff. But after that, it's just kind of a blur, I feel like.
Sure.
Hammer being Christopher Lee Dracula.
Yeah, I knew that, of course. I wasn't gonna ask. I figured it was movie.
Count Dooku.
There it is.
Classic.
There it is. Yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
Man, I don't even know like where to. There was so much. I think this it was at a bit of a disadvantage story wise, because it really reminded me of like Warlord, which I think was written the same-ish time, 70s, early 80s, I guess. But it has the same like, we're following our protagonists as like they deal with new shit every week, you know. But I don't know. I'm caught in the middle because like I love the fucking wacky hijinks Dracula who's always doing shit, and it's kind of cool that he's always involved. But what Warlord did is they had like the big bad, and like the reader knew that like he was kind of being resurrected and all this shit was happening, but the heroes didn't know that. They're just dealing with other unrelated shit until one of the things like leads them down that thread. So like something like that might have been cool, but I don't know. At the same time, like watching Dracula just fucking burst through doors constantly. Heal me. I can't. What? No. Heal me or I'll tell them. Shit. I do.
Well, also there are things of like trying to make him like more noble, or like to avoid him doing the most horrific thing sometimes, of him like not killing people but then killing like bad people.
Yeah.
But
with
he's still fucking Dracula. Like it's not.
Yeah.
He's like, I won't kill you now. I'll need you later.
Yeah, fucking Taj. He's like, you'll sustain me if I can't find food. There was also a lot of I don't know for sure, but I have a hunch that Dracula is maybe over exaggerating on his strength.
What would give you?
Not
What would
even
make you think that Dracula would exaggerate his powers?
not even Taj can lift this lid. It's like that dude and the chick just like pick it up. It's pretty easy. Just ridiculous.
Fucking boastful lion ass Dracula is so funny.
Gaslighting piece of shit.
I love that just Bram Stoker's Dracula, the book, is just a thing that exists in the world.
Yeah, the fact that it's both like real, but also like people have read it and are like, "What a neat novel." That's fake.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
They also did. I was gonna say before you said about him being noble, like we got that whole plot where like that guy helps him, that kid or whatever. Teen, whatever, the young adult helps him. He's like, "You've helped me. I won't forget." I'm like, this seems like a chill dude. That'd be pretty good. Being able to call in a favor with Dracula. Guy's not all bad.
Guy's not all bad. He's pretty bad.
Yeah, but he's not all bad. Like, look.
He'll go out of his way to murder a different vampire if he feels they're honing in on his territory. You know.
We also get some shit about him being like
he'll trap a woman in a bottle for a long time.
Well, that's different. That seemed more like a consensual thing. From a certain point.
I'll need you later. I'll need your help later. Here, jump in this bottle.
Yeah. Like, she probably wanted to be in there, if you listen to Dracula's side of the story.
Uh-huh.
Oh. No, that was easily the best part, is, like, him just, like, any fucking word he says. Shit, what was the other, we had the vampire lady that he trapped in the bottle. We had the doctor who... Was that the one who was his servant? There were like two doctors. Oh, the one doctor was a vampire. And the other was like his servant or whatever who betrayed him. I fucking love how he played that one, by the way. Where he gets the dude, like, my servant or whatever. He's like, yes, of course, Lord Dracula or whatever bullshit. And then afterwards, he's like, you think I didn't know that you fucking betrayed me? Turns on him immediately.
I also like that, this starts with like we have protagonist hero characters, but because the writer changes so much, the book doesn't care that much about them. It's not invested in fucking Drake or whatever what's his name?
Just Drake. Just last name. He only gets a last name.
Frank Drake. Yeah,
sure. I like how
he's Dracula's descendant. That's why it's Drake.
I like how fucking dude. There's so many elements that they introduce in that shit. I think at a certain point it becomes like Dracula is the one who like started vampires. Like they imply he says it anyway. Like he's pulling.
Well, except that there was a vampire before him that he killed.
I'm just telling you what I've heard from Dracula himself.
No, because they make that they start saying exposition, and then it's like citing Dracula Lives, which is the magazine in the back of this volume that we didn't read. And I guess in there's like a Dracula origin story.
Gotcha.
In that stuff.
Well,
there were like editor's notes linking to that stuff about about, like there was this other vampire that like created him and that he later killed.
Yeah,
or whatever.
Gotcha. We also get shit about because Nathan Drake, fucking Uncharted ass Frank, because Frank Drake,
basically the same character.
I mean,
like literally no personality. This guy.
I love that Dracula is like, as my heir, you also have vampirism in your veins. It'll just pop up eventually.
if the writers remember this.
Yeah. Dude, the writers also forgot that initially Frank Drake was like concerned about his friend turned enemy because like dude is under Dracula's spell. Mm-hmm. And then after a certain point, they're just like they're writing him and he's like, "You're a piece of shit, you know that? I can't believe we were friends, you traitor." Like, yeah, he betrayed him, but not like that way. Like he's under fucking mind control. Also, I love that.
I mean, he was plotting to kill him also, but he doesn't know that.
Yeah, like he's just, Dude, I love that Dracula turned him and like made him his servant and then like basically made him a servant to just be screaming at him about how useless he is. How can I help you? You can't fucking help me. You think you can help me, you weak ass mortal?
It's like, and just like sitting in a room going, well, Dracula told me to sit here, so I guess I'll sit here.
Shit's popping off, and he's like, oh, okay. It's like fucking.
I feel like I should be out there, but
it's like cartoon bullshit.
There was also the thing that like Rachel Van Helsing and Frank Drake become like romantically involved because of like a throwaway line.
Yeah.
And then just like next time they're a couple. Yeah. And it's like not on page at all.
They're in love like deeply.
It's just like he admitted he loved her like when they were dying.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yep. Dude was just like, look, I don't want to.
Also, dude devotes himself to hunting vampires pretty fucking quickly.
Like really fucking
I guess
fast.
He didn't have anything else going on.
But he like sold the castle. He had money. He could have tapped out.
That's true. He did sell the castle.
I actually love how they tied that in. Because the whole fucking time I was like, wait, but the thing with like you were gonna sell, who the fuck did you sell it to? Who would buy this? And I was like, oh, this bitch. Like this insane person. Yeah. That was actually like that tie up made me so happy.
Dracula has to go deal with this crazy lady who bought his castle. He's like, I need my castle back. God damn it.
Will becoming a vampire preserve my youth? I mean, yeah, it'll preserve you.
Yeah, sure. It'll preserve you. It won't restore you.
It'll preserve you as young as you are or aren't.
It'll turn you back to as young as you were when you became a vampire.
That shit was. I mean, that was pretty good. The shit with the black.
Yeah, don't make a deal with
the Black Mirror felt.
Don't make a deal with Dracula because he's just gonna like insult you for being dumb.
I mean, sometimes he's fine. If you actively save him, like she was trying to fucking trick his ass.
It's true.
Like I think if you make a good, based on what we see, I feel like if you make a good, honest deal with him, where you are being actively useful, you're probably fine. But if you're like trying to do any bullshit, you're fucked.
Yeah. Except that he'll probably mind control you. But other than that,
I mean, it depends. He seems like he seems like a fine dude, you know? Like got a little love left in him.
He's plotting to take over the world, but also like this guy in a wheelchair has been hunting him and he can't fucking stop him.
Let's run up a flight of stairs, my guy. He was also like, they were really. I guess maybe you could tell me. No, 70s doesn't seem like this is far enough back in time for this to be happening. But they were tossing around the word like vampire pretty liberally when they were raising people from the dead. I'll create a world of vampires, just fucking zombies. Maybe where they were still doing it a little interchangeably at the time. I don't know.
Also he calls himself the living vampire, which is the Morbius tagline. That's Comics Code stuff of like not being able to do actual undead. I think technically you're not allowed to do undead in comics at this time.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes.
So he has to be living dead.
Yeah. They gotta be living dead so that when they disintegrate, there's something to There's
But,
beef to it.
honestly, I didn't know they'd used the living vampire thing for Dracula. I knew it for Morbius. It was like around this same time he got created.
Gotcha.
I think the same year that this title started, they introduced Morbius. Probably because this was popular.
Did he go, it's Morbin time?
He doesn't go, it's Morbin time. That is not a thing he ever said.
They really need, that's the sort of shit that people need to lean into, you know? Like, look, I'm not suggesting that they should have turned like every meme into a thing. Like, I'm not saying that Endgame needs to be Ant-Man going up Thanos' ass. I'm just saying that they need to put it on the screen at some point. It'd be incredible. They have their little alternate universe stories. Do that one.
Yeah. I don't know. That Morbius meme popped off in such a way that I feel like the majority of people that engaged with it just don't know Morbius is a character that's been around since the 70s.
I would say that is
Also.
I would say that's complete. I think the majority of people who engage with it don't even give a shit about any of it at all.
Yeah. It's just the sound.
Dude, Morbin is such a good fucking, like, it's Morbin time. Like, that's up there. Pretty fucking good. You wouldn't believe it. Fucking an hour and a half into Morbius, guy turns himself into a morb. Funniest thing I've ever seen. Meanwhile, Dracula's out here just keeping it classic. Just, you know, fucking
turning
really,
it into mist and saying, "Ha! You could never stop me."
Really, really fucking giving it to that priest.
Just now imagining him turning to mist. He's up against like Luigi with his vacuum cleaner.
Yeah, just fucking sucks him up.
He's like, "Oh no,
dude." You know what you reminded me of? The other fucking panel that I still need to make that edit. Who's the wheelchair guy? Who's the vampire hunter? I forget his name.
I think that's Quincy Harker.
Yeah, that sounds right. Harker sounds correct.
Yeah,
it's Jeff Bridges
Quincy
in the
Harker.
Marvel films, right? And the Blade movies. Anyway.
Oh, is that same character?
I thought it was supposed to be. Maybe. I don't know. Well, if that's correct, then I'm very happy I got a pull. That's who I thought of as soon as I saw the dude. But anyway, the panel of him where he's like, "I'm going to take care of these kids the only way I know how." And it looks like he's fucking cocking a gun, but it's the net gun or whatever. Oh, man. That shit is so good.
What? There was a deleted scene where Morbius was going to be in the first Blade? Wow.
That's ridiculous. Are you confirming my
That's just
statement?
Yeah, they really don't have Jeff Bridges listed in cast. I don't.
Oh, you know what? It's not Jeff Bridges. I got him confused with fucking Chris Christopherson.
Mm-hmm. No, that's different. It's a different character. Abraham Whistler. Yeah. Chris
You know what?
Christopherson is Abraham Whistler.
You know what? I'm glad that they don't look like in this film. He does kind of look like Jeff Bridges a little bit. I'm glad that that's the case. Otherwise, that would have been rough.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that makes me feel a little better. Damn, that's Chris Christopherson. That's sick. That's even better. That Abraham Whistler.
And I think that character didn't exist in the comics exactly.
Yeah, created the character for the thing and named him after Abraham von Helsing.
Yeah.
Interesting. Whatever. He feels like the same fucking role. Ish.
Yeah.
Except he works with Blade instead of, you know, hating him or whatever. disliking his methods of killing kids.
I don't know. They're a vampire. I don't know what Blade's supposed to be doing.
There's nothing.
Here.
Yeah, there's nothing to fucking do.
Yeah.
Also, they're
like if the writers think I'm gonna side with someone other than Blade, they're incorrect.
There's no way to fucking funks off into the.
Who are the memorable characters in this? Dracula and Blade. That's it.
Yeah. No, everyone else is just like they were a person who existed at the same time on the panel as those characters.
Yeah.
Man. Dude, I can't get over.
What I really want now is a page of J. Jonah Jameson yelling at Dracula. because of 70s the Godzilla comics in Marvel, which has J. Jonah Jameson yelling at Godzilla.
Fuck yeah!
If you're just putting another property in Marvel, I need J. Jonah to yell at them.
I mean, that's always golden.
Well, all of the meta now is Jonah looking out for Peter in new comics because they had him find out Peter's identity, and now he's like the thing of him being super committed. Because we read some of that new Spider-Man with that dynamic. Yeah. That shit's so funny.
I mean, that shit's also very good. I'm here for both Jonas.
There was a page I just saw recently of where Peter's running away from a funeral and was stripping off his clothes to change the Spider-Man right there, and then Jonah's like, "Aw, these are gonna get all wrinkled. What would he do without me?" And it's so funny.
That's fucking great. Damn kid. You can't just ball these clothes up like that.
Gotta get all wrinkled.
Dude, I get yelled at for that. Not yelled at. Metaphorically yelled at for that constantly. It drives Anya insane when she's like, "Why do you carry your sweatshirt around like a football if you're not wearing it? Like, how else am I supposed to hold it?" She's like, "Here," and she folds it nicely and drapes it over her arm. I'm like, "Yeah, okay," and then I grab it and hold it like a football, like I'm getting ready to spiral it.
Sure.
It does get wrinkled.
Tie it around your waist.
It does get fucking wrinkled. Yeah,
so
no.
She's correct, is what you're saying.
I mean, I didn't say she was wrong. No, I generally just go for the hold. If I tie it around my waist, I look too Russian. So that's what the Russians here do. It's around the waist, or some do around the neck.
I just wouldn't want to carry it all the time.
It's not that bad. You just. I got a free hand.
Hands free, man.
I got another free. I got two of them.
No, you need both.
For what? What could I possibly?
One of them, you might need to have a beverage. You know?
Yeah, and I got one. Unless I got two beverages, I don't know what world that would happen.
You got to be able to double fist ice cream cones.
There
live the dream.
I mean, there have been.
Are you double fisting ice cream, or are you the living dead?
There have been times where we get ice cream, and Anya gives me her ice cream to hold while she ties her shoe or something. I'm holding two cones. I'm like, I feel pretty powerful right now. I kind of just want to walk around like this. The living dead. Yeah.
It does seem intoxicating.
He was
the power.
He was so nice to that woman who offered him soup, and he's like, "I don't need this garbage. I need something fresh and warm. Blood." Because
it does need blood.
It could have been something else other than blood. Until he said it, I didn't know what he was talking about. That fucking pool, dude. I thought they were gonna, and maybe there is a bit of influence going on here. You just hear a phrase or a name or something, and you just convert it for your own purposes. But as soon as they said "pool of blood," I'm like, "Oh shit, it's the Blade bit." Or Do you happen to know? I was also kind of waiting for it because I didn't know how much of him we were gonna see or how far it goes. Like Blade becoming a vampire, does that also happen? Like in the thing, and like that's a.
I don't. Well, I think they're just gonna like reveal that he's always been a vampire.
I mean, yeah, that's.
He doesn't like becoming a vampire is not a thing that happened to Blade. He was born.
Right. Yeah.
Like
well,
half.
yeah, but I don't know how they do it in the 70s if they do.
No,
it.
I've never read those comics, so I don't
Gotcha.
know actually.
I mean, funky vampire is like funky vampire hunter. It's got to get as much shit as you can popping off.
The important thing is he uses knives here.
Dude, he's using so many fucking. He's like throwing them. He has the fucking. They're just like some of them are wood, right? He has like a mix. He's got those fucking rad glasses. Dude, but
apparently he became a vampire when he was bitten by Morbius.
Get wrecked, nerd.
In Peter Parker Spider-Man #8.
So how does that tie? Like, does that come up in the Dracula series then? Or is it just him like doing his own? I don't know how he like. Does he get his own thing of comics then?
Blade?
Yeah.
I don't think he does before the movie.
Okay.
I think he's just in these, and then he's in some Spider-Man comics too. Because the big thing that he was in was that he was in a bunch of episodes of the 90s Spider-Man cartoon. Because the creator of that just fucking liked Blade.
Was he more like this
one? No, he's closer to the movie version.
Lame.
Because the movie version really feels like they saw the popularity of that version of the character in that show.
Sure.
He's got like the leather jacket.
I was gonna say the leather, the Matrix shit. This is easily the superior version. Like, it's not even fucking close. Instead of sunglasses, he has the fucking, I don't even know what you call them. The colored lenses or plastic, whatever.
Yeah, I miss CBR so much.
Does he,
or Hungry Database rather, when I could just easily look up all of his appearances without a problem.
Oh yeah. If he doesn't have one, he might. I forget if we saw anything like it, but he needs a fucking medallion. He needs a crucifix medallion. You know what I also
gotta be wearing a crucifix.
You know what,
it's really a
you know what I just fucking
Dracula.
realized? You know what I just realized?
What?
We're doing the goddamn podcast and game group.
Oh yeah. Whatever.
Someone could just pop in here. I didn't even think of it. Oh, that's pretty good.
Whatever.
I mean, if someone comes in here, they're getting a guest appearance is what's happening.
Well, they won't because we won't have their audio recorded.
Nope, we'll tell them to start up Audacity. Good shit. So how much of Blade did we read? Or Blade, Jesus. Dracula.
We read 15 issues.
But like percentage wise. Like is it like
out of 70? Tomb of Dracula was 70 issues, and there was the Dracula Lives magazines.
Oh my god. By the end of it I was like, this has to be like a third of it.
No.
Christ. That's so much.
Yeah, we're not gonna. I don't think we're gonna do all of it.
No.
I just wanted the flavor, the taste.
I mean, it was.
And then I read ahead to the issue with Spider-Man.
Gotcha. Yeah. No. I enjoyed the sampling I got. I don't know that I'd need more.
Mm-hmm.
But it's good.
Yeah,
shit.
I could see myself doing it, but I don't think we need to do it for the podcast. I don't know that there's like going to be more to say about it.
Yeah.
Like it's fun. But in that like light, it's kind of always the same thing kind of way.
Yeah, it's just like what's the silly of the week?
Mm-hmm.
Which is
No, you'd have to get much more granular about doing it. Which honestly, I think for doing the podcast would probably mean reading less.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of what I was thinking if we were to do more. It would be like poking at it or something and like a grain of salt maybe.
Mm-hmm. But I think there are other things.
That's the thing. There's so many other things. Not that we can talk about half of them, but there's so many things.
True. Hey, they're supposed to keep negotiating all weekend
I saw that.
because they're actually on pressure to finish that shit, or no production will get done this year because Hollywood basically takes like December off. Like the holidays are like hard off for that industry generally.
Well,
so
it's been
the amount of weeks they have where they actually get work done for this year are like very small at this point.
Well, they said the industry is going to lose like $1.5 billion or whatever. Like,
well, yeah, because they will have done like no work.
Yeah, man. But I'm like, just
the whole
think
season.
that'd feel fucking great as a striker though. Like,
well, except some of that money is not going into like people getting paid their salary.
Yeah, right? Sure, but it feels good when you get to like when you're actually hitting them, versus if you were striking and it was in a way where they could just like ignore you and keep going.
Yeah.
So, I support them. We got plenty of like even on our little personal bit of support, like we got plenty of other shit to do where we can get the support them and also keep going.
Mm-hmm. I think that's a podcast.
Yeah.
I think we talked about Dracula.
We did.
It was good. I had a fun time reading this.
I had a very
I feel
fun
like
time.
that's the thing we need to talk about. That like these comics, despite being these are 70s comics with like lots of dialogue, with
so
lots
much
of text on a page, but these kind of flew in terms of just like bopping along.
Yeah. Oh, once you're
in the right headspace for what these are.
Once you're in the headspace, and then like, I guess the only thing for me, but it's like it's nothing to do with this, and it is what it is. But like, because it's the weekly release or whatever, like every issue starts off by like giving you 8 paragraphs of, Dracula, the person who was dead but then revived by this person. Oh man, I can't believe he got turned, and this girl is now fighting. Like, just a recap every issue.
I mean, like you can skim over those parts.
I did. But it's still just like
that's the power of being able to read at your own pace.
It is.
Although I will say this is the kind of thing where like reading for the podcast made me actually read it as opposed to just like flicking through.
Yeah.
I do feel like I would like fall into like just skipping over stuff. Cause like I don't care about these characters.
Oh, dude,
like even a little bit. Other than
100%.
Blade.
Yeah.
Other than Blade killing teenagers, which is pretty tremendous.
Yeah, Dracula doing his shit and Blade doing his shit are the gems.
Whereas like we have this lady who's like, no, I'm gonna use a crossbow. Crossbows are sick.
I mean, that was also pretty good. Like, that was a good moment.
It's like, what about all this technology for fighting vampires? It's like, but crossbows, though.
Have you seen
They're
this
so
thing?
cool. Have you seen a crossbow? It's like got a cross on it.
Also, there were so many instances where it's like she has the fucking shot and she could have just taken it, but instead she talks, so Dracula turns around and turns into mist or whatever.
Yes.
Love it.
The important thing is that Blade did kill Dracula. He stabbed that fool.
Yeah.
And then Dracula got better, though.
I mean, as is tradition.
He will always come back. Always, always, always. You know, Dracula also shows up in X-Men comics around this time.
Look, you read that line.
Like, I think he like has a thing for Storm.
I mean, naturally,
because he's a character in X-Men. And then later, Jubilee becomes a vampire in X-Men comics in like the 2000s.
Nice. A little bit of vampire is a fun time.
Yeah, and then Dracula's like a big part of that Avengers run we read the start of. Like the next thing.
Oh, interesting.
Is there's a big. They're like the vampires are like set up in like Chernobyl, I think, or something.
Okay.
Vampire.
Yeah, why not?
Because that like book becomes weirdly like all about like these international organizations like politics and stuff. Like there's the Russian superhero team, the US superhero team, and then the Avengers are like more international.
Sure.
And the US team are like the obvious bad guys.
Well, that's nice.
It's like evil Agent Coulson.
I don't know,
which
who
is
that
also hilarious. He's that's a character created for the MCU. He's like the Shield guy.
Oh, that dude. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But in comics, they just made him super evil. After having him just be there and be boring for a while.
Gotcha.
And I think he might actually be Mephisto. But I don't remember. Because Mephisto is like the big bag of that story. It's like Mephisto manipulating stuff.
Oh, okay.
Was the setup behind a lot of stuff.
Makes sense.
And like Blade is like a member of that Avengers team.
He's on the good team.
Yeah, he's on the Avengers.
Okay, good. Fuck yeah.
Mm-hmm. Good shit.
Yeah, man.
It's just not as like upfront balls to the wall amazing as those first 6 issues were that we read.
Yeah.
With fucking Thor becoming big.
Big Thor that's up there. I mean, you called it. When shit gets big, it's good. It's
just kind of better.
Sometimes correlation is causation.
What if things just got big?
Yeah, man.
Bigger is better. What if Dracula got big?
Oh my god, what if Dracula got big?
That's my pitch for a what if comic. What if Dracula got big?
That's pretty good.
I was thinking about it because there is a part of this where Dracula disguises himself by the classic Marvel Comics move of a fedora and trench coat.
Yeah.
And then I remembered that in the that's so there's part of that Godzilla Marvel comic. Godzilla is like regular sized, walking around in a fedora and trench coat.
Yeah.
Just like
fuck yeah, dude.
It's the thing. The Thing, another character who walks around.
I was gonna say, like, I don't, seems like a nice double whammy there.
Benjamin Grimm does it. Spider-Man does it in costume. That's one of the best because he's wearing Spider-Man mask.
I mean, that's like, I don't think we've seen that in Batman the Animated Series, but him just like wearing his fucking costume with shit is too good. Like, just like he's dressed as a cop, but he still has a fucking cowl on.
Yeah.
He's a janitor, but he's got the fucking cowl on.
That shit's just always good. It's just always funny.
Dude,
every time.
It slaps. It's great.
That's why iconic looks are important. Because they allow for great comedy.
Or like, you even linked you sent me a couple of screenshots from the Spider-Man Dracula thing, and like there was the one, just like I always think of it now, the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies where like his mask has like zero emotion because it's just like the realistic whatever, and like how important that is. Now every time I see his eye, because like in the one screenshot, like his eye designs are all emotive or whatever, and I think about that constantly now. And I think about it too while we watched Batman and have read it and stuff whenever it comes up, or Venom or any other character where like their mask just moves because it's good.
Yeah,
It's
they're important. The thing in comics, those masks emote in a way where if you make them like realistic in a movie, they don't.
Yeah,
and you're definitely losing something.
Oh, totally. Especially when they get like worried.
Like that fucking Green Goblin mask they used in the first Spider-Man. Just bad. Just a mistake.
Well, especially because it's fucking Willem Dafoe. And it's like fucking incredible, but
he's like, his facial acting is fucking unreal good.
Yeah.
It's like out of this world. And you're like putting a fucking plastic plate on his face. It's like, stop. No. But I don't like the solution being just like, oh, they just never have masks on. It's not ideal either.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that was the thing. Is our sword and or sorcery night out? Did that hit?
I think that hit.
Okay.
That should be out.
Okay. Watching Legend, that like fucking Tim Curry being able to do that shit under all that makeup is insane.
Yeah, that's just a greater power.
Yeah. I looked at the rabbit hole for that film because there's like 800 different cuts, and then there's fan edits that like swap around the music and shit. I looked at the rabbit hole. I did not go down it. It's so much. Yeah, there's so many cuts.
This movie just isn't good enough to be worth like going through all those versions. IMO.
See, I would do it as a side thing, like just have it on, because like I really like the vibe, and for me, I'm like, how much would the music like change this vibe? I'm like, I don't think it's fucking like, I like the vibe that we got. I don't think I need to fucking check.
Sure.
But yeah,
I don't know.
No, the mouth face acting, unreal.
Yeah. Anyway, that's a podcast.
Yeah, Dracula.
Marvel Comics Dracula.
It's very fun. I recommend giving it a peek. Personally,
better than the Dark Universe Dracula.
Sounds edgy.
Well, that was the Universal attempt at like MCU, but for Universal monsters.
Ah, okay.
I think only the Mummy movie they made starring Tom Cruise, it had like the branding for it, but technically I think Dracula Unbound or something before that was supposed to be part of it.
Interesting.
Had Russell Crowe was playing Jekyll and Hyde.
Oh, hell yeah.
I think.
I like me some Russell Crowe.
That Mummy movie, the best thing about it is there's a Way Forward Metroidvania game based on it for some reason.
Really interesting.
Yes. Movie return.
Random.
Yeah. I don't know why that exists, but it does. It's not a good.
Because why
movie.
not?
It's like it's pretty mediocre.
Sure.
It did not. The Dark Universe did not become a thing. It was very funny. Mostly funny. It's mostly a thing people bring up as a joke, like I did, because they had all this ambition and they forgot to make movies people cared about. As you do. The key first step to any of these things is you have to make a movie people care about. This is the thing that Iron Man succeeded in. People cared about that movie.
Ugh, I still cared about that movie.
That movie was good, yeah. But you have to have the one at least.
Yeah.
You gotta have.
Yeah.
You can survive some other movies people like caring about, like The Incredible Hulk or Iron Man 2, but you have to have that first one that people care about.
Yeah. That movie was crazy. Like how much it blew up when it came out.
Mm-hmm. It was, because who the fuck cared that much about Iron Man before that?
Yeah.
As a person who bought Iron Man comics, you know?
Yeah. I didn't that made me. I think at the time, I thought it made me I felt like I liked Iron Man and Marvel and stuff. I think really I just liked that movie. Like it was just good. It just did shit that I thought that was cool.
Mm-hmm.
And really same with
well, I think part of the strength of that movie compared to like the superhero movies before it was a superhero movie about an adult.
Sure.
Like he didn't have he wasn't driven by stuff from his childhood like Batman is or Spider-Man kind of is in terms of like being tied to this parental figure.
Yeah.
Like he was just a guy doing stuff.
Yeah. I mean, and also it was just it was a slick film.
Yeah. It's a slick film where he fought an evil version of himself at the end. And then that became the thing they always had to do.
And it was... oh no. Okay. It is longer. It's 126 minutes. It's not Godzilla time at all.
Not Godzilla time.
It's very, very much not.
Mm-hmm. And that one did have Jeff Bridges as the back.
It did that. I'm aware.
Tying it back to that wrong thing you said about Blade.
They look so much fucking. Everybody go look.
I mean, I can't
Chris
give you any
Christopherson.
shit about this because of the where I kept saying Gerard Butler when it was James Purfoy for Ironclad, even though I love that movie, and I got that wrong. So I have no grounds to which to give you shit about that. Don't worry about it.
They look so much alike, though. Like in that movie, Chris Christopherson looks like Jeff Bridges. I don't know if he looked like Jeff Bridges did at the time, but like the Jeff Bridges I'm familiar with white hair. Like, I guess maybe Chris was a bit thinner.
Jeff Bridges in Iron Man had no hair. You know.
Yeah. See, that's the. Yeah, but they could do so many things in the movies these days.
It's true. They can take away all your hair.
They can
magic.
They can make you have no hair. They can make people with no hair have hair. It's incredible.
They can make Spider-Man's mask emote these days in the movies. It's wild.
God bless.
All right, SaltCirclePodcast@gmail.com, SaltCirclePod on Twitter, Anchor.fm, Salt Circle. I'm on Twitter @ConkPanels.
And I'm going back into my coffin where no mortal shall touch me. Ever. Ever, ever.
Just make sure it has the soil of your homeland in it. at the bottom. That's the important part.
Yeah, I got a fresh
It's the part that keeps you alive.
jar of dirt and manure from back in the old
I
Wisconsin.
like when he just takes out dirt from his pockets. It's like, this is the thing that actually keeps me alive.
That pocket dirt. Timeless classic.
Yeah, man. Got it. It's important.